Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you so much for liking. Thank you for sharing. So in today's video, we're going to be looking at another FAFO era, another MAGA series, talking about citizenship by birth and the policies that it seems that Trump has in place when he becomes president. Kindly stay tuned, watch these TikTokers, watch what they have to say. Let me hear from you. What do you also think? Do you think it's something that will come to stay, or do you think it's something that he wouldn't implement? Thank you so much. Let me hear your comments. Let me hear from you, and I'll see you at the end of the video. Thank you.
Donald Trump has promised that if he is elected president on his first day of office, he's going to pass an executive order which will prevent birthright citizenships. Birthright citizenship is a child born in the United States automatically becoming a United States citizen. Such measures are to prevent undocumented parents or parents that don't have any status to deliver a child in the United States, and then that child would become a United States citizen. His proposal would require at least one parent to be a United States citizen or lawful permanent resident in order for that child to be recognized as a United States citizen. Politicians and experts have stated that this is not possible as an executive order and would require a constitutional amendment. But it's interesting to see where the mindset is of the former president and Republican candidate for 2024 presidency.
Donald Trump and his allies want to take away what's called birthright citizenship. After the Civil War, the 14th Amendment was passed. The first sentence says that all persons born or naturalized in the United States are U.S. citizens. Despite this plain language, those on the far right are really upset about what they think is people coming to the United States just to have kids and to give them citizenship. They want to take that citizenship away. Stephen Miller and his cronies all want to stop giving identity documents to people born in the United States who are the children of undocumented immigrants. They want to push this issue all the way to the Supreme Court in the hopes that the Supreme Court will say those people are not U.S. citizens. With any normal Supreme Court, this would be dead on arrival, but with the appointees of Trump that are already on the Supreme Court, who knows what'll happen? I think it's a loser, but they're nuts.
So one of the things that I wanted to talk about that I don't see mentioned a lot regarding Trump's policy choices and some of the campaign ideals and the values he wants to impose when he's enacted president. One of them actually refers kind of back to an older idea, but he has restated it recently. And so I believe he first brought this up in 2017, right during his first year of presidency, when he was first implementing the Muslim ban, and he brought this up recently as well during his campaign for this year, for 2024. And I'll include a link if I'm able to find an article that is able to provide a transcription so you can see exactly what his words were. But he did state that he wants to end birthright citizenship in the U.S. Now, that's a really big deal. That is something that has existed for a very long time. It's part of the 14th Amendment of the Constitution. So it is a legal right that people who are born here are a citizen because of the fact that they are born here. And that's one of the biggest ways in which people become Americans. They're born on American soil. Specifically, the reason that he's brought this up and the reason that I think he's targeting birthright citizenship is because of folks like DACA recipients who their parents come into the United States. They are not citizens themselves, whether they come in legally or illegally. Regardless of that, they come in, they have a child, that child becomes a citizen. So it seems like that is a way in which he wants to end birthright citizenship. I'm not really sure. We all know the reason behind it. We know the reason is because it's a racist policy. And it's a racist policy because it's targeting people who typically are coming to the U.S. from a country where there are more populations of brown or black people. We're not treating this immigration issue in the same way that we treat it towards Europeans who immigrate to the United States. Many of us, including my family, were immigrated to the United States. long ago. And there's never been a question of citizenship for white people. It's always predominantly black and brown countries. So we know, and there's huge fear mongering behind it, and it's really unfortunate to see that happening. But I think this will have huge consequences for the United States. If Trump is able to successfully get rid of birthright citizenship, we essentially do not know what the long-term consequences of that would be. We can guess in the immediate, like the short-term future, what would happen is he would primarily target those folks who are coming in and their parents are considered illegal immigrants. And they would be deported, and their children who were once citizens would also very likely be deported as well. So this would impact a lot of people of the younger generation, millennial and Gen Z and even Gen Alpha. They would all be at risk of deportation, which could have huge consequences for our economy when we think about the fact that 30% of farmers in the US and like domestic laborers on farms, they are immigrants. If we get rid of 30% of that workforce, that is going to negatively impact our economy. So it's really unfortunate to see that. The other thing that we're looking at in the long term is we don't know necessarily what that would mean for people who are currently considered citizens. If you cannot have or haven't had long-term connections to the United States, let's say one of your parents is a citizen and the other is not, are you safe? If your parents are not citizens, but maybe, or your parents are citizens, but your grandparents weren't, are you safe? How far back is that lineage going to go? And it is really one of those arguments where it's a slippery slope. If they go back and undo this precedent of birthright citizenship, it's really unclear in a very scary way what that could mean for people who were considered U.S. citizens. And if they're no longer considered U.S. citizens and they are not able to safely seek asylum or refuge in another country, they are people who have no land to claim. They have no country of their own. And what do we do with those people? We haven't had circumstances like that really happen before. And when those have happened, when we see ethnic groups, like with the current genocide that's happening with Uyghurs in China, who are an ethnic group who are not considered part of their own land, that results in ethnic cleansing. So this is a really, really slippery slope. And I hate making that argument because I think it's used very too often. But I need you all to see the reality of this and to understand that something as simple as birthright citizenship, if that is taken away, will have monumental consequences for decades, if not centuries. This could result in wars. It could result in other ethnic genocides. We really don't know the consequences. And for someone who, like Trump, clearly is not looking at long-term consequences of his actions, a leader like that cannot be in power. Because when he is in power, he's not seeing the long-term consequences that he's making. And he's not going to be the one to stick around and have to fix what he messed up. So please, think about that. I will be posting other videos about different types of areas in which I think his policies are extremely controversial, dangerous, and hateful. And this is just one of them. So if you're considering if you didn't know what birthright citizenship is, or why that impacts us as a people, I hope this video is enlightening. And please feel free to do some research on your own as well.
Donald Trump, the president-elect of the United States, has vowed that on the fourth day in his office, he is going to end birthright citizenship. You know that pattern that every child who is born in the United States has automatically become a citizen. Donald Trump called that pattern, that act, ridiculous. According to him, he said they are the only people, that is, United States is the, according to him, that United States is the only place where citizenship is given to a child because he was born or he is born in the United States. When a child is born in the United States, according to him, you would hear, congratulations, you are now a US citizen. He called it ridiculous. He said he must end it, coupled with ending illegal immigrants. Yes, he said on the first day in his office, he would ensure that he deports illegal immigrants. They're going to return back to their countries. They're going to go back to their countries. Then, ending birthright citizenship.
I mean, if this revoking of this citizenship by birth thing is actually put in place, it will actually shake a lot of people, because some people, individuals from other countries, once they are pregnant, they just go to the United States, without necessarily having the permanent residence or citizenship documents for the United States for themselves. They just go there and they give birth, and their baby automatically becomes a citizen. But if this policy is put in place, I mean, it's going to shake a lot of people, and it's going to cause a lot of changes. But it is what it is. And all these policies are actually speculations. We don't exactly know what is going to go on when Trump actually gets sworn in, his first 100 days in office. We don't actually know what he has in mind exactly to put in place. And I just hope whatever it is that the policies are, there is actually for the greater good of the people, and it actually goes a long way to favor the people, right? And I hope everything just turns out well. Thank you so much, guys, for stopping by. Thank you for clicking. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for supporting me on this channel. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Stay safe. Ciao.